People spend millions of dollars to do these surveys of what clients feel, or customer satisfaction surveys after they get a mortgage. And the three things that they always complain about, most people would think that the most important thing in a loan is interest rate and fees, right? That's what we always get, or what are your fees, what are your rate? But really the three things that they always say is lack of communication. They never feel like they can get a hold of anybody. They don't know what's going on. They're just sort of left in limbo. Their loan didn't close on time. You'd be surprised that a very large percent, depending on what survey you read, says like 60 to 70% of all loans do not close on time, which means you've got a moving truck parked out there and you're supposed to be moving in and you're homeless, and customers don't realize that is a huge risk. And the third one is what we call bait and switch. And bait and switch is when you call in and they say, here's what your rate's going to be, or you see a billboard that says what rates and fees are, but then you've got fine print that scrolls everywhere that you're not reading, okay? And so bait and switch is when a client has an expectation and then at the end of the day, it's not what they thought it was going to be. So they're sitting at the closing table, you got to move, the moving truck's in the driveway, you just have to close on that loan and it's not what you're expecting. So we've really tried to figure out a way to prevent those three things.
Getting a mortgage can be disastrous. It can just be, it can take all the joy out of buying that brand new house. It just can be terrible. But coming here, we have an expert in every part of the process. And so it just, the problems that we might run into, we all run into them up front. So we can make that process smooth at the end. So we really grind up front and get all those problems whittled out up front, and then we coast into the closing. Where most mortgage companies will kind of let things go up front and then just really drive at the closing. It makes people wonder if their loan is going to even close. It makes them wonder if they're in good hands. And we might get, if we ever did get in a complaint, it's how intense it is at the beginning of the file. That people, we're driving to get all the documentation, everything, get them completely pre-approved, hopefully before they even start looking for a home. So by the time they find their home, it's just an easy process after that.
When you work with people, everybody is not the same, and sometimes things can be missed, but not with Steve. He's really...
Well, he seems to be Johnny on the ball.
Yep. He seems to know everybody he needs to know.
One is we've got an on-time close guarantee through Guild. And there are some, I talk about the fine print, but there are some fine print to it. But if you give us a contract that's the right amount of time and we've got your documentation order, we will close your loan on time, or we'll put our money where our mouth is. And there's a close on time guarantee, in some instances $500 cash back, and a couple other things that go along with it.
There's a lot of online places, lots of places you can go, but you're not always going to get facts. And when you get down the line, after you've found a home you fall in love with, that you really want to have, you find out that things weren't what they told you they were going to be on the mortgage end, and that's the last thing you want to happen. So, that's why I use Guild, because when you initially meet with them, you're going to know, yes, I can qualify for this loan, or I need to do these things with my credit to get to the place I need to be. They'll work with you on planning, and sometimes it can be a process. Not everybody walks into the door immediately qualified for what they want. Sometimes you have to build a plan and go forward on that, and they'll stick with you and your realtor, or if you have a realtor, and they'll make sure you get to the plan so that you get the house you want when the time is right. So,
and number two is inside of our office we have a system of communication that they get assigned a dedicated transaction coordinator. They've got the loan officer they're working with, but also a dedicated transaction coordinator whose number one job is to make sure that they feel like they're communicated with, they know what's going on, they're never left in the dark to wonder. And a couple things we do there is we have what we call a Tuesday update call. That means every loan that transaction coordinator has, they call the borrower every single Tuesday, even if there's no news. So if anything urgent happens, you know, you've got really urgent, important things during a loan, like an underwriting approval and an appraisal and those kind of things, they'll still notify them. But we have the additional touch point of the Tuesday update that clients have really loved, because you just know we try to communicate better than any mortgage company out there, and that's a big, big deal to us.
I like the feeling of knowing coming in here where I really stand.
Yeah.
Because, you know, mortgages are scary to everybody that has to go through that process. And they make it so much easier, and they talk you through it, and they give you options, and they show you what your payment would be, how much you put down, what this would be, what that would be. And we never had that before.
No.
Even when we were in Grand
No.
Junction, we never got that opportunity. We were just told this is what you
This is
get.
what you're going to get, and take it or leave it.
So, yeah.
And with Chantry and Christie, they lay it all out on the table, and you can pick whichever one you want, and
Yeah.
they go for it.
Yep.
No,
Good people.
they are good people.
The third thing is that we pride ourselves in under-promising and over-delivering. All of our business is by word-of-mouth referrals. Past clients, friends, business associates, real estate agents. We don't have online advertising, and so we don't ever think of a customer as a one-time, one-and-done transaction. When we get a new customer, it hopefully is a long-term relationship, and we'll service their mortgage needs for the rest of their life. So we can't afford to be at the closing table and have them not over-the-top ecstatic about how the processes went. Especially since our business is all just St. George, Southern Utah. It's pretty small. You know, one bad customer can spoil the whole thing. And so those are the three things that we really are trying to improve every single day, is closing on time, over-communicating, and under-promising and over-delivering in terms of rates, fees, and costs.
And then on the other side, my office not only does insurance, David does financial planning and retirement. And so a lot of the times you'll have couples that might be looking at a reverse mortgage, or needing to sell a home and downsize into something else, or even new people moving into the area to retire looking for a home. And we're able to send them over here to Guild for their financing, and they've always done a really good job.
We read a book a while ago, and we're always trying to improve, and we're in coaching, and one thing we try to pride ourselves on is better every day. And we read a book a while ago called Raving Fans, and the philosophy behind Raving Fans is find out what your customer wants and deliver that plus one, and whatever plus one means.
The core training is exactly like us, are concerned with the whole picture. Not just to make more money, but to serve more people, to be a good steward of your blessings, and to try to become something, and that we try to pass that on. We pass that on to our real estate agent partners. We pass that on to our clients. We just want them to be well-rounded and well off. Peace, prosperity, that's kind of where we're at. Just having them be able to go to bed at night knowing that they're doing what it takes. And they don't have to worry about when they're 65 or 70 years old. They'll be in a good spot.